Okay. Okay, now. All right. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome once again to the Enhanced Sports Show. It's just after 4 o'clock in the New Jersey area. My name is Luke as you know. The number to call is 512-543-4662. And we'll be here just before 6 o'clock before Russell McGee takes over with his show, and a very fine show it is. All right. As I mentioned, May is going to be a very big sports month. I mean, we have a lot going on. Um, We have, of course, the NHL NBA playoffs going on. Today's also the Kentucky Derby that I forgot to mention on my notes this week, but I got that all covered up. Although it's going to be a strange thing with horses out of it. We'll also have the PGA Golf Championship. That's next week, if I'm not mistaken. The WNBA will get started as well. And like I said, the NBA and NHL playoffs will continue as we head into the second round and the third round by the and so it is a jam-packed sports month. Oh yeah, the Preakness Stakes in 2 weeks as well. I told you it's gonna be busy, didn't I, folks? Right, Steve and Diana, of course. All right. Wait, Diana, are you there? All right. So we'll get started with the baseball standings. All right. So in the East, in the American League, goes like this: Tampa Bay going right along, 27-6, have a 4.5 game lead over the Orioles at 22-10. The Red Sox, yeah, they're moving up now, 20-14 at 8 back. Blue Jays have fallen off a bit though, at 19-14, 10 back. And the Yankees, I'm sorry, wait, let's do that again. Orioles are 4.5 back, Red Sox are 7.5 back, Blue Jays are 8 back at 19-14, and the Yankees are 17-16. I'll ask the question after I'm done with the standings, and then I'll see what you think. All right, in The Central, the Twins are 19 and 14. In four back are the Tigers at 14 and 17. The only team that's has a 500 record in the Central Division is the Twins. The Guardians are 14 18, 4.5 back. The White Sox 11 and 22, 8 back, and the Royals 8 and 25, 11 back. Probably the most pathetic division of all of baseball. Oof. To the West, the Rangers 18 and 13 are in a virtual tie with the Angels at 19 and 14, but the Rangers are in the lead by 5 percentage points. Astros 17 and 15, a game and a half back. Mariners 15 and 17, 3.5 back, and the A's. You guys really want to know? 7 and 26, 12 back, and can't even draw flies at the stadium. It's just that sad. The National League, Braves 22 and 11, 5 back are the Mets. Is 17 18 after losing to Detroit this past week. Oh boy. The Marlins 18 and 17, 6 back. Phillies 15 and 18, 7 back. And the Nationals 13 and 19, 8.5 back. But remember, the Phillies got to a slow start last year, and look where they ended up. Just a second here. Okay. And we got another call from Cleveland. State your name, please. Matthew. Okay, just want to be sure. Okay, I'm glad you showed up. All right. In the Central, the surprise team of the year. Well, at least I think so. The Pirates, 20 and 13, have a game and a half lead over the Brewers at 18 and 14. The Cubs, a respectable 18 and 16, 3.5 back. The Reds, 13 and 19, 6.5 back, and the Cardinals, 10 and 23, 10 back. Ooh, boy, that's weak. And finally, the Dodgers are 19 and 14. The D-backs, that's why I said the D-backs are only a half game back at 18 and 14. Wow. The Padres, 18 and 15, just a full game back. The Giants, 4 back at 14 and 17. And the Rockies are the Rockies at 12 and 21, 7 back. All right, guys. So, what's wrong with, the Oakland A's? I mean, they can't even draw flies in the stadium. They only drew like 2,800 or even less than that at Wednesday's game. I mean, that team is, how is it once a historic team that won 3 championships in the 70s go to the most pathetic team in all of baseball? Can somebody tell me that? I mean, it's really pathetic what's happened to that team. And not only that, but the whole city of Oakland has now lost all its sports teams. I mean, the Warriors moved across the bay of San Francisco. The Raiders moved to Vegas. Oakland's now they're going to go to Vegas for the new baseball team. Oakland did have a hockey team at one time. I think it was in the AHL though, but they have no professional sports teams in the whole city. What has happened at franchise and what has happened to Oakland? The A's are just a dump heap. I mean, they haven't really done anything in the last 30 years. Can somebody ask me what is wrong with the Oakland A's and why can't they do it? Besides the fact that they're having a terrible season, what else is wrong with Oakland? The A's is. Steve, I'll start that with you. Steve, I'll start that with you. Yeah. Well, you are the host. No. Yeah, I mean, yeah, but there's got to be a reason for it. Is it the managing? Is it the pitching? Is coaching? There's got to be something because this is not how a team was supposed to be. Bless you, Diane. I mean, 7 and 25, and I mean, as far as I'm concerned, their season's already over. Yeah. Jimmy just joined us. So, Jimmy, what's your take on the Oakland A's and their fall from grace to now this dump? No, and Nobody even goes to their games anymore, Jimmy. That's another problem. I mean, I think only the Expos, when they were so had a worse attendance after the strike. I mean, because after that they just said, "Nah, forget. We're gonna move into hockey. We're ditching this team." But I mean, they've been declining now for quite some time, and even in the '90s they weren't drawing anybody that much. But this is beyond pathetic. What's your take, Jimmy? You want to still consider it major league? They play like a college team, if that. Hello, Mike. All right, Mike. What's your take on the demise of the Oakland A's? The demise of the Oakland A's, because they are beyond a comic tragedy right now. I don't know. Matthew, your take on the A's? Oof. Yeah, right. It is. No. Yeah. No. I think they have. You're right, but there's still no excuse for that. I mean, that's just beyond pathetic. Yeah. Yeah, you are. But I mean, even some bad teams can draw decent crowds. But this is just. But then again, Tampa, they're a decent team, and they only drug about 9,000 a game. Then again, they say that's a death trap of a ballpark anyway. So I get that. Diane, your thoughts? I believe Steve is back. Good, good. Okay, we got some good people here now. Yeah, it's like a death trap of a stadium, Matt. And that's been one reason I think why they can't seem to draw anybody. It's just that bad. Diane, your thoughts? Well, I don't know if that's possible, Diane, but this is not the way a professional baseball team should be managed, and it's just that bad. And I don't know what they can do about it, but they're gonna eventually move out of Oakland and go to Vegas, and the sooner the better. The lease is about another couple of years, and hopefully they'll make the right decision when they do move to Vegas. So that's the end of an era for Oakland as well. Sorry to say, but no more professional baseball teams, no more professional sports teams in Oakland. Well, at least for now. But that's just a sad statement. You know, I wish I could figure out what happened to them, but I can. And to add on that, well, there is some good news for the A's as their starting pitcher Kyle Muller became the first starter for the A's this season uh, to win a game. They beat the Orioles. They beat the Royals like 12-8, and the battle of the cellar dwellers in baseball. The A's starters went 0 for 16 and surpassed last year's Pirates for the longest losing streak to start a season without a win by a starter. Now, and that's a franchise record too. Now, if you're wondering, wait a minute, isn't there a team worse than that? Yes, the Nationals did that would record 43 straight games. But that was sorry, Steve. I remember. I don't make this up now. But remember that was not from the start of the season. We're talking from the start of the season only. So even though that the Nationals are bad enough as it is, this now sets a new distinguished record or embarrassment, as the case may be. Oh boy, yeah, just horrible. Yeah, I'll have more baseball news coming up. All right, now we have upsets and we have upsets. I mean, did anybody see, of course, the hockey plays last week between the Boston Bruins and the Florida Panthers? How in the world could they just choke like that? How in the world can the Bruins just choke like that in Florida? They had the game won in game 7. There was only like 55 seconds to go in regulation, and then they put on the ultimate choke signal, and the Panthers tied the game up, and they won it with, I think, 8 minutes in the first overtime, meaning a season that was going to make history and was looking to be, history making by going to the finals, just went up in smoke like that. A near perfect season with 65 wins, 130 plus points, and they collapse. I don't get it. You took the words right out of my mouth. Yeah, but well, then again, that also proves, of course, the curse of the President's Trophy. That is the team that has the best record of the regular season, and proving once again to our theory that just because you win the regular season does not mean you're going to have success in the postseason. And ladies and gentlemen, they proved that. They proved that on Sunday night. I'm like, this can't be happening. A tragedy of epic proportions in the sports world, as we know it. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. But I was watching the Bruins. The Bruins died. So that's just, I mean, I was not expecting that. I mean, we were all expecting, well, I was expecting at least um, a sweep in this series. It went 7 games and they just collapsed. I'm thinking, yeah, Jimmy, but then again, with Patrice Bergeron injured, I think maybe that might have caused something because he was not. I don't think he was on his game after that with whatever issue he was facing. Saying it was like a health issue. There was something going on in the locker room in there, and it might have affected the game, affected his play, and the rest of the Bruins as well. So that may be a factor. Because, like I've said, that when you get the postseason, you gotta have your players healthy as much as possible. And if you don't, then I think you're going to be asking for a lot of trouble, and that's where I think where the upsets come in. So that might have played a factor into it. I'm not saying it's the definite factor, but it could have had a negative impact on the team. I don't think so. Matt, you're still there. Matt, your thoughts? Yeah, what could have been? Yes, right. All right, Mike, your thoughts? Neither have I. Neither have I. Right, Diane. Well, one is better than the other, of course, but well, actually, Florida is just mediocrity, well, at least compared to Boston. Florida just barely qualified. Yeah, but Florida was just barely qualified. You my nephew. He. I'm not going to mention that here. But I am. But I'll be honest. I am happy. For some people from the area for the Devils winning. I know I have a lot of friends who are Devils fans. Um, you know, the Rangers just looked flat in Game 7 with that. After winning Game 6, I thought maybe they might have a chance to fight in with it, but I think the Devils had more in Game 7 and were looking to close it out at home, and they did. It wasn't. I wasn't too surprised. This series could have went either way, so that didn't really phase me and whatnot. I mean, it would been great to see it, but the Devils, they deserved it this year, and then they made it for the first time in the postseason in 10 years. So yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. I mean, I'm not really surprised by this either. I mean, Carolina has a strong defense, or strong offense, and the Devils' defense isn't mustering up. But remember, the Devils were outshot 10-2 in the last series before they started pouring it on, and the Devils' defense held up from there. So anything can happen in these next three games, and they're coming home tomorrow. So that might be able to that could help too because they're better at home. I think like the second or third best record at home this season, and they also had more wins than their previous years, even the championship years. They have 52 wins this season, Diane. So they must be doing something right. Uh, Carolina has a strong offense as well, and I think maybe they might be in for a quick season, a quick in this series. Jimmy, your thoughts? Yeah, 10 years, 20 years since they won. Right. Yes. By the way, Coach Lindy Ruff is up for Coach of the Year as well. Yeah, but Montgomery is also up for it too. I don't know. I think after that collapse in the postseason, I don't know if they're gonna. I don't know if they're gonna consider it when you think about it. Jim Montgomery, coach of the Bruins. Though you have to give him credit, after his first coaching job in over 3 years after he was fired from Tampa for conduct issues, but he has made it. He has made this team what it is, and gave the Bruins a great season. Too bad just collapsing went to pieces in the postseason, just like that. Now, as I was mentioning about the Yankees, all right. Now let me ask you a question: do you think it's time for the Yankees to panic? And do you think that fans hitting the panic button? Do you think it's time for them to hit it? I say no. It's way too early. I mean, and first of all, they do have an above 500 record. The American League East has the strongest division this year so far. Nobody's below 500, so it is strong and competitive. And not for nothing, but at the record they have right now, it doesn't seem, all that big of a deal. I mean, 16 and 15 as of last night. It doesn't really think that's not, too big to overcome. I don't really think so. I mean, I've seen worse situations than this. And yeah, no, no, right. Yes. Yeah. Right. Well, see, that would save us from the last time we were this bad because we had a good minor league system when the Yankees were injured because there's a lot of injuries. This year. I don't think our minor league system is as strong as it was back a few years ago. When you have a minor league system that's good and get called to the majors, that can help your team. I'm not too confident about this one, but I still think it's a cheaper way to say, well, pack in the season. So let me just update you on this. General Manager Brian Cashman knows that the Yankees fans are ready to hit the panic button. The injury bug is sweeping through them like wildfire, and it looks like it showed themselves. Despite how it is now, Cashman believes that the Yankees can win a World Series, but first of all, they're going to have to stay off the injured list. Yeah, good luck with that. At 31 games in the season, fending off a $277 million payroll with a 16-15 record at the time this was written, and now 10 and a half games behind the Rays. More than 151 million that invested is on the injured list, highlighted by Aaron Judge with a hip injury, Giancarlo Stanton, who was an accident waiting to happen. Oh boy, Carlos Rodon with arm and back issue. By the way, his delay, he's going to be delayed even more with his start. So gonna have to wait a little bit more for him to return. But more the injury, but it's more that the injuries to superstar players. The roster is missing a lot of depth with players like Josh Johnson, Luis Servillano, and Frankie Montas. Cashman said the biggest fears is the Yankees getting rocked by injuries this early in the season. Well, it's better than getting it than say down the stretch like in August and September when you're going to need those players. Cashman and the Yankees have received criticism for building a roster that is nothing more than a train wreck, noticeably Rodon, Judge, and Stanton. But Cashman dismissed those critiques given the track record that they have when the Yankees are healthy. Because when the Yankees are healthy, they are very dangerous. Rodon has been dealing with a stiff neck and is undergoing more testing, and he's going to be delayed another couple of weeks. Prospects of minor league depth are not enough for the Yankees to keep pace with the Cashman hopes that they can tread water until the roster gets healthy. So, what do we make of those comments by Cashman? Steve, I'll start that with you. No, I don't think so. No, that would inspire you to play better. Hmm. Yeah, but injuries can happen to anybody, though. Yeah. Matt, your thoughts? Yeah. So anyway, the issue with his back is a chronic issue now, and we'll have a cortisone shot next week to speed up the process. When asked if a return was realistic by July, the free agent deferred to the training staff. I can't put a time on anything right now, said Rodan and to reporters in Tampa as they began a 3-game series last night. Rodan said, I'll get the injection and hope to return as soon as possible. He went on the injury list with a forearm injury that he suffered in spring training in mid-April and was delayed due to a stiff back. And he signed a $162 million deal in the offseason. So that's why he has been delayed. Just to update on that. More baseball news. Astros right-hand pitcher Luis Garcia needs Tommy John surgery and is out for the rest of the year. As when people get that, their season is done. A day has not been set for the surgery, and the Astros say that Garcia is expected to return next season, but at one point, we just don't know. Garcia was placed on the 15-day injured list when he left last Monday's game against the Giants with elbow discomfort. He was 2-2 with a 4.0 ERA and 6 starts to start the season. Last season was 15-8 with a 3.7.2 ERA and 28 starts when they were the world champions. I don't know if they're going to make it this year. I think it's safe to say that they will not repeat. At least I hope not. Any thoughts on that? Okay. And the Pirates, well, they suffered their first setback of the year as right-hander Vince Valquez heads to the 15-day injured list with shoulder inflammation in his pitching elbow. But I still think that they're going to be fine. I mean, Pittsburgh is off to a phenomenal start. He clutched his right elbow as he departed the third inning in a game against the Rays on Thursday. And they also activated Chris DeJong after coming up from rehab assignment and infielder Drew Maggi to Double-A Altoona. Overall, though, this pitcher though is not that good. He is 38-50 in 190 games, 143 starts. So he's not that good. He's been around. He's played for like 5 or 6 different teams, and his record is just not that great. And DeJong has been sidelined for 3 weeks with a back injury. Boy, these injuries are really piling up this year so early in the season. As I heard that maybe the pitch clock is becoming the problem with that. Trying to get everything done within 15 seconds with nobody on base and 20 seconds with runners on. I did hear that maybe some of that might contribute to some of these injuries this year. What do you make of that? Okay. We got another caller from New Jersey, but I'm not sure about the number here. Somerville, can you come in, please? 908, are you there? Okay, Kayla. All right, that's fine. So you have a question? You have a question on baseball or anything? Go right ahead. Nine regulation games, regulation innings. Uh, some people don't understand it. If you're new to the game, again, it's a 9-8 regulation game. But the game has changed in recent years as now they add a pitch clock, a runner on second with an extra innings, and the shift and the shifting has changed. The game has changed a lot. Yeah. Well, that only applies to international play. Okay, Greg's there. Greg, you got a question? Well, your number came up, so okay. Yeah, all right. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I would. I assume that you missed Pistol Pete, right? Right. Oh, yeah. Yes. Yes. No. The Celtics did. Yeah. 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 No. Yeah. Actually, now that we're on the subject of basketball for a minute, I don't know if you were listening up, but the MVP was handed out, and surprise, surprise, Joel Embiid won the league's MVP award for the season. The announcement came on Wednesday, finally claiming his award that he should have won 2 seasons ago. He flipped the script on a dominant season, finishing ahead of Nikola Jokic and the Greek Freak to earn the league's top individual honor. We felt it was a tight race. We felt like a tight race throughout the season, but it ended in a blowout. Embiid had 73 of a possible 100 first place votes, 915 total points, 15 first place votes. Then it was the Greek Freak that finished with 12 votes and 666 points. Jason Tatum, yeah. Embiid was first. Joker was second, and the Greek Freak finished third. Tatum was fourth, and Shai Alexander of the Thunder was fifth. So, did the NBA make the right call? Was Embiid the right choice for MVP? Steve, don't go there with Simmons. I mean, he's not even worth it. He's not in the same class. Again, he has. Uh, oh boy, Matt, your thoughts? Did they may get it right? Matt, okay. Jimmy, did the NBA make the right call in the MVP? Okay, right. Now Embiid is a star player. Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah. Uh, Mike, your thoughts? Well, he already got it, but you think they made the right decision? Okay. Greg, any thoughts, Kayla? Yes. Right. Kayla, any thoughts? Kayla, any thoughts? Celtics are, but we're doing MVP awards, and we're looking to see if Jalen B was worth it. I think he was. I mean, he's waited 2 seasons in the making, so I think he was worth it. I think Diane would agree too, right? Well, just do the best you can. Speaking of that, oh, one more baseball note before we move on to basketball. Um, kind of a little bit of a sad incident that happened here, as a spectator fell over a protective railing into the Red Sox bullpen last night, reaching for a ball in the first inning against the Phillies last night. That's sad to say that. The fan was taken to a trauma center at Thomas Jefferson University Hospital, according to medical personnel on the scene, as he tumbled one level on a right open concourse in the Red Sox bullpen at right center field. Um, no, it wasn't postponed. The game actually went on. Um, he is okay. He was responsive after the incident. It was taken off. It was taken on the by a stretcher onto a cart after the injury, but he is responsive, and he is. I think he's going to come out okay. But that's just you know just always sad to see when it happens. He was trying to reach over a ball and he fell over. If it's out of your reach, don't even try it, because when you fall off that you can really get hurt on that. So, you know, I mean, I get the point. We're trying to be, trying to be like a local hero and stuff, but it's not worth risking your safety. If the ball's out of your reach, don't try to lean over it. Okay, that's not good. We're talking about your safety. We don't need any more accidents. You know, you gotta be careful when you go to a game. Yeah. All right. So let's go over the teams that are still involved in the playoffs, and we'll start. And by the way, Butler is playing in Game 3 against the Knicks. Oh, what a shock! All right. So we'll go over the playoffs, starting with the NHL, and it goes like this. All right. So Gerald. All right. So of the remaining teams, here we go. Listen carefully. All right. First up, the Oilers versus the Golden Knights. The Golden Knights have the series now 1-0. So, Steve, who do you like in this series? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Enough said. All right, all right, all right. Okay. Matt. Yeah, right. It is. You're right, because Seattle in their second year, Vegas in their first year. Well, remember, Vegas had a lot of veteran players in their first year when they went to the Cup, so experience did add to that. So remember that. Jimmy, I thought you were. All right, Mike, Mike, Gerald, Diane. I'm gonna go Golden Knights, and I think it's gonna be a very tough series. I don't see this ending in 4 or 5 games. It's going to go at least 6. So I have to look at it that way. All right. Hurricanes, Devils. All right. I'll start with the local crew first. Carolina's up 2-0, but the Devils are coming home. So, Mike, who do you have? Yes, Diane, Jimmy, Jimmy, Carolina or New Jersey? Right. Okay. I thought so. Steve, he says Hurricanes. Uh, Matt, if you saw the last series, I get the point. And Gerald. Well, thanks. All right. The Maple Leafs against the Florida Panthers. Panthers came off a strong upset against the Bruins, but it's different now. So, Steve, who do you got in this series between Toronto and Florida? And your answer is okay. Okay, again. All right, Matt. Yeah, Jimmy. I understand. Jimmy, Mike. All right, Diane, and Gerald. I'm gonna go with Panthers too. I'm surprised. All right, Stars Kraken. Oh, this will be fun. All right, Gerald. So I thought so. I had to be sure. Steve. All right, Mike. Jimmy. Diane. And Matt. All right, and I got you right, Steve. All right. It's a tough one here, but you know what? I think I'm gonna go with the Kraken. You can't deny what they did all season. Even despite the fact it's only their second year, but they have proven that this expansion team can really make it happen here. All right, so we done that. Maybe have to wait and see, pal. Okay, all right. Now on to the hardwood. All right, starting off with the Knicks in Miami. Well, been an interesting series so far. I mean, the Knicks had a chance to win Game 1, but Julius Randle was injured, and Miami took advantage of that. Um, Jimmy Butler was out for Game 2 after he suffered an injury at the end of Game 1, but now they're right back. They're right back in the thick of it, and they are just beating up the Knicks right now. So they'll probably take a 2-1 series lead. But Steve, what do you have in this series? Matt, okay. Mike, all right. Gerald, Oh, sorry. Diane. Well, at least you got the vote of confidence. Uh, did I get everybody there? Uh, I'm gonna go with the Knicks. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Knicks as well. All right. In the Battle of California, Warriors, Lakers. Steve. Ah, okay, okay. All right. Matt. Okay. Mike. Diane. Gerald. Jimmy. Okay. Tough one here though. Boston and Philadelphia. I mean, even though the games have not been competitive at all, but this one I think has the makings of a 7 game series. And I think it's really tough to call here. So, Steve, what do you got between the Celtics and the Sixers? All right. Matt. All right. All right. Jimmy. Yes. Mike. Mike. All right. And Gerald. Yeah. I got you, didn't I, Diane? I'm going with this. I'm going with the Sixers too. Because if we do manage to win this series, I don't want to play Boston, okay? For obvious reasons. All right. And finally, the Nuggets versus the Suns. Uh, okay. Steve. All right. Matt. All right. Jimmy. Mike. You had to go there. Okay. Diane. Gerald. Denver. Phoenix. I'm going with Denver as well. All right, guys. As I mentioned earlier in the show, it is Kentucky Derby Day. But the thing is, the star horse that was supposed to be playing is out with an injury, was a foot injury, and he has been scratched from the lineup. And I don't know if it's becoming an epidemic or not, but there are 5 horses that were supposed to be in, and rather 23 horses, and 5 are out for one reason or another. This is the first time since 1936 that 5 horses have been out at the same time, and as the smallest field since the pandemic of 2020, according to that. So just let me get a little bit of that here. Oh, by the way, Maple Leafs might have a problem because rookie forward Matthew Nyes is out for the next 2 games with the result of a concussion. So and that happened in Thursday's loss to the Panthers. So the Leafs might be in trouble here. Maybe. Okay. Moving on. Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Okay. The fair was known as Forte, had been scratched with a bruise foot. The announcer came after a morning workout. Forte galloped to the track and then jogged outside the barn with his trainer, Todd Pelcher, and co owner Mike Reppel, seen meeting with the state racing commission veterinarians afterward. Reppel said that the state vets were concerned about bruised right foot on Forte. The horse stumbled on the track on a workout on Thursday, though Pelcher downplayed the injury. He was on a 5 horse winning streak, listed as 3-1 odds at the Derby at the morning line, and then 4-1 before he was scratched. Tapid, Trice, and Angel of the Empire were listed as 9-2 odds before Forte drew out of the race. All right, so let's run down the horses that are in here. Oh, there we go. All right, listen to the names carefully, guys. We have Hit Show at 25 to 1, Verifying at 15 to 1, Two Phillies 8 to 1, Confidence Game 17 to 1, Rapid Trice 9 to 2, King's Barnes 10 to 1, Recomate 12 to 1, Madge 17 to 1, Skinner a practical move or scratch. Skinner! Oh boy. Sorry. Disarm 24 to 1. Disarm. Jace Road 30 to 1. Sun Thunder 29 to 1. Angel the Empire 9 to 2, which seems to be the odds on favorite now. Raise Kane 29 to 1. Demar Sakatej at 8 to 1. Cyclone Mischief 28 to 1. Mandarin Hero 20 to 1, and King Russell 30 to 1. All right, Steve, any of these horses look like a winner to you? All right, Jimmy, let me ask you that. Your favorite. Matt. Matt. All right, Mike. Okay, Gerald. Okay. Well, I don't know. I think I would go with Disarm. I kind of like that one. Okay. So, but unfortunately, we'll not be able to bring you the results because this show will be gone by the time we get back. So we'll have the results next week. All right. So, Diane, go on with your trivia. That's up to you. Well, you're a baseball expert, so go ahead. Yeah, Yankees, Yankees. Remember, he was with the Red Sox first. Yes. Are we talking the BC year? Are we talking the BC years or in the current era? Okay, then it's 1903. And here's the thing, guys. Here's what you got to remember. That was a 9 game series back then. They didn't do seven. It was 9 games, and then it went to seven 1904, and then went one more year 1905 to 9 games, and it's been seven ever since. I think they're the Red Sox. Yep. I think they're now called the Red Sox. Hank Aaron, Mickey Mantle. Yes. Yep. Wow. Even with the expanded postseason, that record still holds. You gotta have credit for that. Wow. Okay. Anything else, Di? Steve, anything on the WWE or UFC territory? Go to it. Hurry. We only got an hour to go. Hurry. How many rounds is it scheduled for, Steve? How many rounds is it scheduled for? How many rounds is it scheduled for? Thank you. Hour time. Yuck. What they've done to the sport. Yeah. Yuck. Right. Okay. That's right. Oh, yeah, the streaming service. Yeah. Yes. Why's that? Right. Yeah. Mm. All right. Right. I have a boxing news that you might have overlooked. See if you're there. Are you familiar with Are you familiar with the boxer name Javonta Davis? Yeah. Right. That's true. He is a former boxer. Yeah. Yes. See, we got to move on. So anyway, he avoids jail time in a criminal hit and run case in Baltimore. According to reports, Davis was sentenced to 90 days under house arrest at the home of his trainer, Calvin Ford, and placed under 3 years probation and was also given 200 hours of community service. Back in February, he pleaded guilty to 4 counts stemming from a hit and run incident that resulted in a crash in 2020, injuring four, and one was a pregnant woman. Oh boy. Police said Davis left the club around 2 a.m., which is normally closing time, that night, ran a red light, and struck a passenger on the side of a Toyota Corolla. Oh boy. The prosecution said He made eye contact with the woman, but never came to help. Well, why didn't you come to help, stupid? The woman's name was not identified, has opened a civil case according to court records. The attorney was not available to reach comment. You gotta admit that is just dumb. I mean, you had the problem and you didn't do anything to help it. What kind of person are you? Let Steve finish the comment first. Go ahead, Steve. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you should stop. I mean, that's what I would do. It's a shame how it happened, though. Yeah. All right. So, oh wait, I had a football note here. Yes, the Indianapolis Colts have released quarterback Nick Foles after just one season. Oh boy, one of four quarterbacks on the roster. They became expandable when the Colts used their fourth selection overall, Anthony Richardson, of Florida. Also remaining on the roster are Gardner Minshew and Sam Ellinger. You want to keep Minshew? Oh boy. The Colts had a 4-12-1 season with four changes at the position between Ellinger, Foles, and Matt Ryan. Foles was making his second start of the season when he suffered a rib injury and was replaced by Ellinger. Somehow I didn't think Foles belonged there anyway. And that proves it right there. I mean, he's really not. He's a decent quarterback, but I just think he fit in, with the Colts. So, any thoughts on that, guys? Yeah. Okay. Never mind. All right. Ronald Acuna Jr. was removed from Thursday's win against the Marlins at precaution after he fouled off a ground ball in his left knee in the sixth inning. Okay. Just 3 days after he was removed from a game against the Mets with a bruised left shoulder. Boy, talk about injury prone. Acuna was on the ground as he grabbed his left knee, but finished his at-bat and returned to right field in the bottom of the sixth. Braves manager Brian Snitker said after the game that Acuna is fine. At least we think so. Just a second here. I'm getting those icons again. Okay. I was having trouble with his knee, and the Braves wanted him to get treatment right away. Good move. When you hit a ball off your knee, it will hurt for a while, but he's going to be fine. He was replaced by Sam Hillard, who went to center field, and center fielder Kevin Pillar took Acuna's spot at right field. Acuna, though, did extend his on-base streak to 23 games as he reached base on a fielding era by first baseman Yuri Gurnell in the first inning. He also had an RBI and a stolen base in the second. He was also removed from the Mets game on Monday with a bruised left shoulder after being hit by a fastball of 93 miles per hour. Oh, boy. And hits just keep on coming, folks. Okay. Now, as I mentioned, Jim Montgomery, who led the team with the best regular season record in league history, was announced as the finalist for the Jack Adams Award as the coach of the year. The other finalists are Devils coach Lindy Ruff, who took the Devils to the playoffs for the first time in a decade, and Seattle coach Dave Haskell, who took the Kraken into the postseason only their second year of existence. Montgomery was hired to replace Bruce Cassidy. This was his first head coaching job since being fired by the Dallas Stars in 2019. Right, Gerald? For unprofessional conduct, inconsistent with core values and beliefs with the team. Well, that'll do it every time. In January 2020, Montgomery was announced he was checking into a rehab for alcohol abuse. He led the Bruins to the best regular season record in wins and points, only to be upset by the Panthers in Game 7 after the ultimate choke artist in regulation and lost the final game in overtime. Oh, boy. Now, the voting began before the playoffs started, so keep that in mind. Ruff led the Devils to the second greatest year of improvement in the NHL history after scoring 112 points this season, Diane and Mike, as compared to only 63 points last season, trailing only the Sharks, who had jumped 58 points in the 1992-93 season to the 1993-94 season, and led the record for most wins in the franchise history with 52 wins. Haskell took the Kraken in the postseason just his second year, improved by 40 points in their debut season, and with the fourth highest scoring team in the league. The awards will be handed out next month in Nashville, June 26th to be exact. All right, guys, any thoughts on that? And who deserves it more? Who deserves to be the coach of the year? Haskell, Montgomery, or okay, Mike? No. Montgomery. All right, Diane. Right, Matt. Okay, Gerald. Uh, and Jimmy. Yes, and at least they're still on the. Yeah, yeah. Well, let's just hope if they lost, it won't be so rough on him. I had to do that. Sorry. I couldn't resist, guys. I know. Ugh. All right, so the Devils are on the way back home after a 6-1 loss to the Hurricanes last night, and now in an 0-2 hole. Am I worried? No. Some might be though. Captain Nico Heischer said after the loss, we should be really ticked off right now. I think about this mostly we've lost our battles. It's just you're right. Um, and it's a playoffs, but we can't feel too sorry for ourselves. It's a series, and we've been here before. The Hurricanes have outscored those 11-2 in the first two games of this series, but remember they were outscored 10-2 in the last two games of the first series, so nothing new about that. But the Devils couldn't cash in on a 5-3 power play. Okay, that doesn't help your team much. We shot ourselves in the foot. The Hurricanes compete hard on all pucks, and we were not able to match it, said Miles Wood, the forward. There's not much we can say about this game. We had to flush this game and move on. We have been here before, especially in the first round against a great team. And we come back and we came back and won the series. So we're not dead yet. Ruff hopes to that by returning home, the Devils might be able to use the last line change to get some advantages that they did not have in games 1 and 2. Well, yeah. The power play, though, has been pathetic as they are 0-5 in this series and 0-13 against the Hurricanes in the regular season. Okay. Rookie goaltender Arka Schmidt, who helped the Devils win the first series, has given up 7 goals on 36 shots so far, and Vitek Vanek has replaced him in both games. Freddie Anderson stopped 28 shots since his return to the lineup against Game 6 of the Islanders and has stopped 77 of 80 shots, period. I'll tell you, this guy's no slouch, so if Carolina can keep with the goaltending, I think they got this made. And Joel Embiid was presented with the MVP award from Commissioner Adam Silver as Jason Tatum watched the ceremony from the locker room. It's a normal part of Tatum's routine as he usually leaves the court after the buzzer sounds at the end of warmups. But he can still hear the ceremony taking place on the court on a TV screen receiving the trophy. That served as motivation for Tatum as he responded with 27 points and spoiled Embiid's night as the Celtics now lead 2-1 in the series. Tatum said Embiid deserved the award, but I was trying to win the game. Tatum was held to 7 points in 19 minutes due to early foul trouble in Game 2 on Wednesday, but still managed to blow the Sixers anywho. I only played 18 minutes, so it felt like a night off, said Tatum. It took only 3 minutes in Game 3 for Tatum to score as many points as he did in Game 2. And matches Game 2 output in the final 3 minutes by scoring the entire team 7-6. We were organized, said the Celtics center Malcolm Brogdon. We were organized, poised, and made the right reads. We made our shots, of course, but you can't do that without being organized and get to the right spots and get the ball into the right hands, of course. Tatum hit a jumper late in the fourth after a three-pointer from James Harden cut the lead. The Celtics lead to 6, but Tatum knocked down a step jumper to extend the lead again. And on the next possession, Tatum drew a foul and knocked out a pair of free throws that put the game out of reach for the Sixers. And that's where we're at right now. Harden, who scored 45 points in Game 1, has struggled for the second straight game after only shooting 3 for 14 with 16 points. So for him, that was an off night, and Jaylen Brown finished with 23 points. So that's my take on why I think the Celtics are going to win this series. Anybody disagree with me now? Good. I'm glad to hear it. All right, just let me clear some of these notes off, of course. All right, so on to more news. And before you know, there'll be a training camp time for football. All right. Oh, I almost forgot USFL. That's right. As we're now into week 5. All right, guys, ready? Don't knock it to your track, guys. All right. So we had one game today actually on the schedule. I don't know why they start those games so early on Saturday, but I guess it's just to get everything all in. So we had Houston at Philadelphia. That was earlier today. I had Philadelphia. Steve, who did you have? All right, Matt. No, he quit. All right, Jim. All right, Houston or Philadelphia. We're doing USFL now. Okay. Jimmy? All right. Diane? Gerald? Okay, I got Philadelphia too. All right, that's fine. In tonight's game, Memphis at Michigan. Mike, who do you have? Okay, I have Philadelphia too. Memphis at Michigan. Steve? Wait a minute. Okay, yeah. All right. Mike. Diane. Jimmy. Memphis is playing Michigan. All right. Gerald. And Matt. I'm going Memphis too. All right, for tomorrow's games, our Jersey Generals against. Okay, our Jersey Generals against the Orleans Breakers. I should say the way around. Let me ask my Jersey crew first. Mike. All right, Jimmy. Diane. Steve. Thank you. Gerald. Matt. I'm going Jersey too. And finally, Birmingham at Pittsburgh. Steve. Thank you. Matt. What do you mean by hurts a little? Okay. I understand. Right. Okay. Mike. Jimmy. Jimmy. Diane. Gerald. Yes. Okay, I'm going Pittsburgh. By the way, there's no XFL this week because next week is the championship game. So we'll discuss that on next week's show. Yeah, of course. All right. Well, give me a prediction. Well, that was the name of a Styx song, but that's another story on now. Yes, we'll discuss that. So hold your thoughts on that till next week's show, okay? Because that's when the championship game is. Hold your thoughts on that. All right. So back to more news here. Just let me see here. Yeah. Okay. And we got about half an hour to go, or something like that. The Guardians have struggling star Zach Pulisic to AAA Columbus. The Guardians made the move with Pulisic on Thursday, one day before his scheduled his next start. Instead, he'll be replaced by Peyton Bettenfield, who pitched the opening game of the series against as the Guardians faced the Twins last night. Pulisic was 1-1 with a 7.5 ERA and 5 starts. No wonder he got demoted. The right-hander. Yeah, what do you want? Come on, 7.5. That's terrible. That's okay. So the right-hander's problems extend from last season as he went 3-12 with a 4.31 ERA and 24 starts last season. Man, he's pathetic. And since he joined the team in 2019, he is 26-27 with a 4.2 ERA. What are you doing in Major League Baseball? Yuck. Yeah. All right, on to football. Okay, Giants fans, you might like this one. Defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence reached an agreement on Thursday, uh, yesterday actually, on a 4-year, $90 million deal, $60 million in his pocket. The deal makes Lawrence the third highest paid defensive tackle in the league behind Jeffrey Simmons of the Titans and guess who? Aaron Donald of the Rams. Well, that was going to happen. It comes after he stayed away from the start of training camp, the off-season program, which is voluntary, due to a disagreement, a source told ESPN last month. Mm-hmm. He did stay in contact with the Giants and Coach Brian Daboll in the offseason. He was all set to play in his fifth year of his rookie contract, and the team wanted to lower his salary cap number. Talks were on hold in recent weeks, even if signing Lawrence was a top priority ahead of running back Saquon Barkley, who stayed away from the offseason workouts because he had to work out his franchise tag. But not a bad deal if I do say so. Right, Giants fans? Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, now for the disturbing story of the week. And I think you'll all agree this might be the biggest idiot of the week, maybe of the month so far. This goes coming from Iowa State. Iowa State football player Aiden Ralph has been arrested on charges that he raped a woman as she laid immobile after he shoved her so hard to the stairs at his home and fractured her spine. Oh, boy. Ralph, a registered freshman, was arrested. Let me finish, Steve. Let me finish. Was arrested on Thursday for felony sexual assault and misdemeanor domestic violence charges in the alleged attack at his home around 1 a.m. on December 3rd. So why are we hearing about this now? It should have been done a long time ago. According to the affidavit, Ralph accused the woman of cheating on him and shoved her several times, including once to the stairs. What a jerk. As a result of the injury, she caused loose mobility and pleaded with her and to call an ambulance, the police wrote. He refused to help her instead, and like I say, the rest is history. A judge set an $11,000 bond for Ralph. He appointed a public defender to represent him in order to have no further contact with his accuser. The next scheduled hearing is for May 15th. The Iowa State's Lake program suspended Ralph from all football-related activities, a spokesperson told the Ames Times, and deservedly so. What an idiot. You were going to mention something, Steve, on that? I just said that, but thank you. What guy in his right mind would actually do something like that? Uh, you're right. You're right about that. I mean, we get so much. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. Say that again. Yeah, right. I'm not really sure, but I get the point. But still, you don't do something like that to something like that. Just awful. He will be in jail, believe me. Okay. On to more pleasant news. On to more pleasant news. The Chiefs completed a rebuild at defensive end by signing Donovan Smith to a 1 year deal on Thursday. The NFL Network first reported the news said the reported deal was worth about just a mere $9 million. The Chiefs lost both tackles from last season as Brown went off to the Bengals, and Andrew Wiley went to Steve. Where did he go to? Thank you. That was your cue, Steve. Earlier, we can see the team signed Jawan Taylor from the Jaguars to be one of their best starters. The Chiefs selected tackle Ryan Morris of Oklahoma in the third round of the draft, and two other tackles who were backups from last season. Bucks released Smith on March 7th as one of several cuts on the roster under the cap. Oh, that reminds me. Now they're on the draft. Steve, how would you rate your Commanders from the draft? Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. Matt, what would you give your well, you're a Browns fan or a Steelers fan? Great. Okay, an F. Yeah, I get an F. Right. All right. Yeah. Mike? Oh, I know. Really? Okay. No, I think he's got a point there, Steve. The Giants did well this year. Diane, how would you grade your team? Yes. Oh, she said a B. Okay, Gerald. Same with me with the Jets. All right. I don't think so. After the collapse and all that, I don't know. Although they are getting some of their starters back with Rodgers. But also a Jets fan too died. All right. Okay. Yeah. All right. Moving on. Okay. Moving on though. Yeah. All right. So moving on. I think this might be the big shock of the week here, as the Bucks fired their head coach Mike Budenholzer after an early round exit to the Miami Heat, despite having the best record of the regular season. The decision to make the change was difficult, said by Bucks general manager John Horst in a statement yesterday. Bud helped the Bucks win for 5 seasons, including the 2021 championship, the first since 1971, and into an era of sustained success. We are grateful for the culture and leadership and winning that Bud has helped create. Bud had 2 years left and $16 million on his current deal. The Bucks won 58 games this season and entered the playoffs as the number one seed, but lost to Miami. The sixth time a top seed has lost to an 8 seed team. He is the fourth coach in the last 50 years to lead his team to the best regular season record and not return next season. Joining Mike Brown of the Cavaliers of 2009 and 2010, Phil Jackson of the 97-98 Bulls, and Pat Riley of the 89-90 Lakers. Budenholzer's decision came into question when the Bucks blew a double-digit lead in teams 4 and 5. The Bucks had a pair of opportunities to win on the final possession in regulation overtime, but Budenholzer elected not to use timeouts in either scenario. I don't know about you, but I don't think he should deserve to get fired. No, and regular season, yeah, and one of the best in NBA history, and they fired him for what? Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was right. I don't think it was. I don't think Budenholzer should have got fired. Probably more than the team. Probably more than the team. Hmm. It's your fault. Right. Yeah. It's your fault you lost the coaching. I mean, you don't win 65 games a season, the coaches being the coach's fault. Uh, hey, we got another caller here from Atlanta. Would you state your name, please, for the record? Hey guys, how are you? Guys, they do a wonderful show on Wednesday nights, the Brendan Hovis Show. Diane and I are regulars, and you ought to check it out sometime on Wednesday nights from 9 to 10 Eastern Time. So, Red, what do you got? Uh, I was just mentioning to the crew here, Bullenholzer getting the axe. After having a spectacular regular season, they did lose in the first round of the playoffs, but I don't think Bullenholzer should have got fired. Yeah, okay, he was, and he still got fired anyway. And yet they don't, and yet they don't fire the Bruins coach after they collapsed. Okay, uh, is it me? Is it me, guys? There's something wrong with this picture here. Okay, it's me. All right. Anyway, I have something here from the Rangers. The Rangers faced life after elimination yesterday with their head coach and two-star players pondering their futures. Head coach Gerald Gallant said he has not spoken to general manager Chris Drury, who was also a former player, which was the subject of much speculation after being eliminated on Game 7 on Tuesday. Gallant has a regular season record of 99, 46, and 19 in his first two seasons, not bad, and went to the conference finals last season before losing to the Lightning in 6 games. Yuck. He did not take part in the postseason interviews, but also did not take part last season either. No one from the organization has told me anything about Gallant. I'm coming here. I think of what our two successful seasons in New York. We had a bad week, and it cost us. If I can't stand by my record, by what I've done, and not just my record here, then I did something wrong. I think we had a very good season, but we play in New York, and people out here things, but it's not to be expected. I can't believe some of the answers to these questions about getting me let go or getting fired. That was found by the media. Gallant is signed through 2025. The expectations were raised when they signed Patrick Kane and Vlad Tarasenko at the trade deadline, both pending free agents. Carrasco has 4 points in 7 playoff games. Kane has 6 points, but Kane was hindered by a lingering injury, with multiple reports indicating that it was to his hip. So that might have been a factor right there as well. That also could explain why he didn't score a lot this season when he came over. And before he came here, he spent 16 seasons with the Blackhawks, including 3 championships with the Blackhawks. So, what do you make of that with Gallant under fire after losing in the playoffs, the first round of the Devils? Mike, since you're a Devils fan, what do you make of this? Yeah. Uh, yeah. Matt, your thoughts? He disappeared. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, he is signed for 2 more years, and they did have a good season despite losing down the stretch. But injuries, of course, will do that to you. No question about that. Jimmy. Exactly. He does. Diane. Okay. I think we all agree that. Oh, I wish Devin was here because I got some news about soccer. Lionel Messi is leaving PSG when his contract expires at the end of the season. Oh, where's Devin when you need him? Last month, ESPN reported that Messi would not sign a new deal and that both parties have agreed not to extend his stay. According to sources, the Argentine international had been suspended 2 weeks for missing training camp on Monday as he went to travel to Saudi Arabia. After the loss to Laurent in the third loss in the last 4 league games, Messi flew to Saudi Arabia without permission. That's a no-no right there, folks. The incident further complicated the relationship between Messi and the club and left some players very unhappy with the incident. Who can blame them? Sources did say that the agreement was in principle was reached just prior to the World Cup between PSG and Messi for him to sign a new deal in Paris, but that situation changed in rather dramatic fashion. Sources told ESPN that there is an offer from Saudi Arabia for Messi and is aware of the interest from former club Barcelona and the MLS team in Miami. Is anybody here a soccer expert? And does anybody was there anything about Messi leaving PSG to go to Saudi? Anybody can answer. Yeah, but you should have asked permission first. I mean, that was, yeah, that's violation of rules. So that wasn't smart on his part. And if the Suns are going to have any chance to, any other thoughts before we move on? Okay. So if the Suns are going to have any chance, you got to do, I think, about Chris Paul as he hobbled off the ball arena in the third quarter in Wednesday's game, lost to the Nuggets in game 2, as he left the series with left tightness in his left groin. Paul's status for game 3 is uncertain as the series shifted to Phoenix. The Suns were in 0-2 hole, and game 3 was last night. The only thing we can do now is hope for a speedy recovery and the Suns shooting guard, Devin Booker, who scored 35 points and 6 assists in the loss. I personally don't think they can do without him. Paul left the arena after the final buzzer and did not speak to media. Checked out of the game with just over 4.5 minutes left and then headed to the locker room. He grabbed his left groin after battling to box out Nuggets Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Paul slowly got up the court after the Suns' possession of the ball. He just came up where he could not push off a bit of anything. Suns coach Monty Williams said we are not sure where we are right now, but it looks like to be in the groin area. He's dealt with multiple injuries throughout the playoffs of his surefire Hall of Fame career. He missed 8 games due to playoff games due to injury, most noticeably by a strained hamstring that sidelined for Paul for the last 2 games of the Western Conference Finals, as he was a member of the Rockets, had 3 2-lead but lost to the Warriors. Paul is averaging 12.4 points per game and 7 points this season. The Suns have lost consecutive games with Kevin Durant left the game as Suns had a 3-point lead. So I don't know. I don't think they can win without Chris Paul. To be honest with you, I think it's safe to say this season, this series is going to be over. And at the end of the third quarter, the Heat are just beating up on the Knicks 87-70 right now. Unless they make a dramatic comeback in the fourth, they're going to take a 2-1 series lead. I was afraid of that. Yeah, well, 80. Yeah, right. Okay. All right. So on to this week in history. 1896 Kentucky Derby, Willie Sims aboard Ben Bush with his first Derby win at the current distance of 1.25 miles or 2.0 kilometers. Um, Also in 1903, the Chicago White Sox commit 11 errors against the Detroit Tigers, but won 10-9 in the South Park of Chicago, Southside Park. Wow. 1915, Babe Ruth hit his first home run, 12 pitches, and Boston as Red Sox lost to the Yankees in extra innings. St. Louis Browns pitcher Bob Groom no hits the White Sox 3-0 in 1917. And teams from the National Association Football League and the Southern New England Soccer League merged to create the American Soccer League, but unfortunately, that collapses in 1933. 1925, Ty Cobb hits his fifth home run in two games, tying Cap Anderson's record of 1884, the dead ball era. Okay. 1934, Red Sox scored 12 runs in the fourth inning, including four consecutive triples hit by Carl Reynolds, Moose Salters, Rick Farrell, and B. Walters. Wow. 1939, Kentucky Derby, James Stout aboard Johnson wins in 2 minutes and 3 seconds. 1944, in the Derby, Con McCree aboard Pensive wins in 2 minutes and 4 seconds. It is Derby Day, so we had to put in all that. All right, moving on. 1967, 93rd Kentucky Derby, Bobby Unsery of Proud Clarion wins in 2 minutes even. I know there was another one from in the later years. Oh, 1974. Once upon a time when the Oakland A's were good, pitcher Paul Lindblad makes an errant throw to first in a 63 loss to the Baltimore, ending his streak of 385 consecutive airless games. Wow. That's a long time to go without making an error. 1992, in a conference final, Vancouver beat the Blackhawks 4-1. 1982, Seattle Mariners pitcher Gaylord Perry becomes the 15th pitcher to win 300 games. 1984, hey Steve, you might like this one. Remember it. Baltimore Orioles Cal Jr. hits for the cycle. Yep. Yes, 1987, Mario Andretti sets a one-lap speed record at Indy at 218.204 miles per hour. Wow. 1992 for you Mets fans. Oh, Mike, you might remember this one. New York Met Anthony Young begins a losing streak of at least 26 games. Remember that one? I remember that one. 1991. Listen to this. Uh, Philadelphia Larry Dykstra slams his sports car into two trees. Wow. You're right. 1994, Lennox Lewis TKO's Phil Jackson 8 rounds for the heavyweight boxing title. No, not the former Bulls coach. Thank you very much. 1995, Kentucky Derby Gary Stevens on Thunder Gulch wins in 2 minutes and 1 second. 1995. Hey, Steve, you remember before there was ESPN, the third ESPN was called Classic Sports Network? Yep, it made its debut this week in 1995 before it became ESPN Part 3. 1997, a sad day for us in the Northeast as the Hartford Whalers became the Carolina Hurricanes. Yep. 1997, Rick Pitino becomes coach of that team I don't want to mention. Okay, Boston Celtics. You know how much I can't stand the Celtics, people. 1998, Kerry Wood strikes out 20 Houston Astros to tie the major league record held by Roger Clemens. He threw a one-hitter and did not walk a batter in his fifth career start. What a shame they couldn't make the playoffs that year. I try to find that. I guess they don't have it. I was looking for another Kentucky Derby moment, but I just can't seem to find it because one of them wanted to win the Triple Crown not that long ago. I do have a good news story of the week. I'm sure you've all heard of Serena Williams, right? Guess what? She's going to become a mother for the second time. Yep, that's right. She's going to become a mother for the second time. It was announced just recently that she will become a mom again. I have the article right up here. Okay, all right. She announced that she's about to become a mom for the second time. She made the announcement back on Tuesday on Instagram and posted it on her appearance at the Met Gala. Williams and her husband, Alex O'Hanlon, who are five Olympia, who Williams gave birth to in 2017. The 23 Grand Slam champion won the Australian Open in 2017 while 8 weeks pregnant with Olympia. Back in August, she announced, I hate when they do this. Back in August, she announced in a first-person essay to Vogue that she would step away, citing a desire to expand her family. She spoke publicly about her difficult childbirth in 2017, the long recovery afterward. Williams said while she was not able to tie the Grand Slam record for a 24th Grand Slam title, she reached 4 majors in 2020 and one in New Zealand. By the way, her husband is co-founder of the sports streaming service Reddit. I'm sure some of you are familiar with that. So, that's who has that. And Brittany Griner says she's done playing overseas, unless it's for the U.S. national team. She said back about a week ago in her first news conference since being released from Russian prison. Griner also spoke about her concern for other Americans being detained in other countries, what helped her get through her imprisonment and her brief to return to an elite level in the WNBA. Well, we certainly hope that. Yeah. Yes. I don't know what you mean, Steve. Uh-huh. Okay. Okay. Oh, I got some here. The nation of Abu Dhabi will host 2 preseason games in October between the Timberwolves and the Mavericks. The teams are scheduled to play between October 5th and 7th as part of the Abu Dhabi games that began last year with the Hawks and the Yucks. Bucks. Following the success of last year's games and events that welcome fans from around the world to Abu Dhabi, we are excited to return this year with two great matchups between the Mavericks and the Wolves, and some of the best players in the world. Said by managing Middle East and Europe quickly. Save it for next week, though, Steve. Save it for next week because the game won't start until we're done. So this is said by managing director of Middle East and Europe, Ralph Rivera. The games we play on Yas Island in Abu Dhabi, according to the announcement on Tuesday. NBA games have aired in the UAE since the 1997-98 season. All right, so that's good there. All right, we're just ready to wrap it up almost. I want to thank all those for coming in. Oh, and yeah, Joel Embiid went on the injury list and Harden took over for Philadelphia to win their first game of the series as he scored 45 points. Well, I didn't think they're actually going to, win without him, but surprise, surprise, Harden stepped in. Unfortunately, now they trail in the series 2-1. Well, we'll just have to see what happens here as the series moves on. All right, so that's going to wrap it up for this show. Make way for Rasal coming up. I want to thank everyone for coming in. Don't forget, next week is Ladies' Night because next Sunday is Mother's Day. So I'd like to get, some of you moms out there to call in. Whether you're a new mom or you've been a mom for years and years, doesn't matter. So we hope that you will be able to join us. So let me see. We had a good crowd again today. Hova, thanks for coming. Brett, thanks for coming in at the last minute. I appreciate it. It was great to see you. At least hear from you. Yeah, and we will do the XFL Championship next week, Steve. So everybody, hold your thoughts. If you have any thoughts on it, please share them. But share them next week, okay? Because otherwise, it wouldn't be there'd be no point. All right, so I'm gonna get out of here. Get ready for Rasal. And that note, have a good week. See you next week, same time, same station. You doing the out thing? Wait, I better.
That's it.
That's it. As soon as I press end the broadcast.
Uh huh.